Hey team, at this point you might be wondering, how is this the journey of the North Star? It just looks like a bunch of ups and downs with a progressive growth. And the answer is that it depends on the perspective that we take while looking at the journey. If we put the beginning at the left and the end at the right, it looks like a series of ups and downs. But if we stand at the start and look towards the finish, we see that it actually involves a series of lefts and rights, as well as what appears to be ups and downs. And all of those come together to form a star. Now, the lower left-hand point of the star is where we take personal accountability and we start the journey. And we can see the peak and we want to move towards that ultimate goal. And we start on the path. Now, the point of critical challenge is when we realize that we have not achieved the pinnacle and the peak, that we've achieved off to the right a little bit. And so we move off to the right, and that's when we reach critical challenge. We realize we're a little off target from where we needed to be to hit that peak. And so we have to make a left-hand turn in order to move towards that goal. Now, as we move across that middle point of the star, it feels like we're going backwards. From a long-term perspective, we're just not continuing to make upward progress, but we've reached the plateau stage. We have to keep putting in work in order to move forward. Now, as we're going along through this, we'll start to realize that we've still got to go a little off course before we can get to that peak. And so this is when the boy build decides, oh, I want a shortcut. And they try to make the leap. They try to shortcut the process to get to that goal. At this point, the dad bot would just back away from the journey altogether. They would say, oh, it's not worth all that extra effort. I'm not going to make it anyway. And the father figure realizes that they will get towards the goal and they've got to continue along the path. And as they continue on the path, they will eventually reach that pinnacle. And so they continue along the plateau, and then they reach a point where they realize they have to have a balanced growth, that what goes up must also go down. And the analogy here is that of a tree. In the springtime, the branches of a tree spread out. As it spreads, it starts to put buds. And as it puts buds, those buds turn into leaves. And so we can see year after year that the tree is growing outward. And so we can see year after year that the tree is growing outward, expanding up towards the light. Then it appears, as fall occurs, that those leaves die and fall away. And it looks like the tree is dead for a while through the winter. And then the next year, the branches reach out a little bit farther. The tree grows a little bit more in an upward, obvious place. And it seems like it starts its growth again. Now, if we think about this, as the tree expands, if it doesn't have a deep enough root system, if it doesn't dig itself into the soil, what happens is the tree becomes top heavy. And as it becomes top heavy, it starts to fall over. And so continuous upward, outward growth is what puts us at risk of eventually becoming uprooted, falling apart, getting injured, ill, damaged, being of no service or inspiration to others.